They never actually declared themselves, we are the Cartel of the Suns. They never really said that. That was a nickname because so many people high level within the military inside Venezuela were part of this narco terror group, and they were getting kickbacks, and it was alleged that some of them were actually giving orders specifically all the way down the food chain. But their generals, I think it's maybe colonel and up, or maybe general and up. I think it's general and up. Instead of stars, they have a little sun insignia. So like 3 suns, like a 3-star general, or on and so forth. That's why they were given that nickname, because they are part of this group and they are part of the military. Now, the head of that snake is Maduro. So he gives the orders down to the generals give the orders down. So that's how they were able to classify the entire government, in a sense, as part of this cartel, part of this entire terror group. And that is where, Glenn, it gets kind of interesting when it looks like constitutionally, what can they pull off? What can they do as far as military action when the head of the snake, who is the head of this cartel, allegedly, is the one giving these orders? Then that really kind of frees them up to do whatever they want when it comes to
right, because this cartel is a terror cartel. Explain the island and everything else.
Yeah, so the cartel is more involved with, well, it's more involved with drugs, but I say that, but they're, these groups are absolutely, in the true sense of the definition, terror organizations, the way they operate.
Right.
But the terror,
that's just their money. That's just where they make their money.
Right. And then, but it goes way beyond that, as you're talking about. Like there is Margarita Island. There's an island just off the coast of Venezuela where Iran sends people to train there, to be stationed there. The Venezuelans come down from groups like Tren de Agra and others to train there, sometimes going from Margarita Island all the way back to Iran to get more specialized training. Then they come back. Who knows where they go from there? Possibly in the United States. Who knows? They've held meetings, secret meetings inside Venezuela with the top scariest of the scariest terrorists to meet with Chavez, and then who knows later, potentially even Maduro. This is a terror hub. This is also a terror hub that is which I just described is working with Iran, but also Russia. Russia sends submarines to guard. They did this back in 2018 to show support, military support for Maduro. China is funding a lot of their stuff through oil. Russia is sending tankers to transport Chinese Venezuelan oil to China. Glenn, it's all part of the network. And as you're talking about, this goes way beyond anything where you just talk about narco groups coming from Venezuela to the United States. It is so much more integrated into that. And I agree with you. I think the Trump administration just lay it all out on the table. Say, this is what's going on. Congress wouldn't really even be able to talk. The Democrats, they wouldn't even really be able to counter any of it. It would be so obvious. They should just do it.
All right, so General Michael Flynn posted this earlier. He said, massive breaking news. All Americans must grasp the gravity of this moment and what this deposition-like letter below means for the future of our republic. It is that severe of a warning, an actual warning being rung by General Flynn. We cannot allow China or Russia or major international Islamic terrorist networks to own beachfront property off of our southern border. Trump's actions to date have been sound, but given this new information, President Trump must do some new soul searching with key members of his team. Remember, it's pretty sure that Michael Flynn's got President Trump's number, so this is for our benefit. This blockbuster op-ed comes from a career spy at the top of the Venezuelan regime, where he served as the former head of military intelligence and in the National Assembly for nearly a decade, General Hugo Carvajal Barrios. In it, he describes how U.S. diplomatic and CIA officers were paid to assist Chavez and Maduro to remain in power. He also describes how the election software Smartmatic, developed in Venezuela, is used to alter elections. Quote, this technology was later exported abroad, including to the United States. This letter is a strategic warning from a man who spent decades inside the command structure of a hostile foreign power. Carvajal confirms that many of us have been stating repeatedly. that the Maduro regime functions as a fully integrated narco-terrorist apparatus conducting an unconventional campaign inside of and against the United States of America. He details how Venezuela weaponized cocaine in coordinated operations with FARC, ELN, the Cuban intelligence, and Hezbollah. How it built and exported violent criminal networks like Tren de Aragua into the United States, how its intelligence services infiltrated American institutions for more than 20 years, and how Smartmatic was developed, quote, to keep the regime in power forever. Carvajal now states that President Trump's policies were acts of essential national defense and that he is prepared to provide further classified details. We as Americans must demand more transparency about the role of rogue deep state elements inside of our own national security system who have been or currently protecting the Venezuelan regime and have been for decades. Enough is enough. All right, so what you're seeing right now is the dissemination of information that ordinarily you wouldn't supposed to hear. The egg is being cracked, and they're showing you everything that's inside of it. And it's one of the reasons why President Trump, at this point, I say, has been so tough on these people. And what he's been saying and how he's been saying it is specifically to tell these people, screw off, we're coming after you. I know that there are quite a few members of the Fanfare family that are kind of skittish about using AI. I get it. You might be worried about your privacy and control over your personal information. But you know, AI is the future. There's no getting away from it. President Trump has been pushing hard to make the United States the leader in AI.
We will not allow any foreign nation to beat us. Our children will not live on a planet controlled by the algorithms.
So understand, AI is inevitable. In fact, it's already here. It's not an if, but rather a when will you use AI. But what if there was an easy and safe way for you to use AI? Let me tell you about a tool that I use every single day in planning the show that might make things much easier for you. I'd like you to try Venice AI. You simply go to the Venice AI website and tell it what you want. It's that easy. Let me show it to you. Okay, here I am at the Venice AI website. Let me ask it anything. Tell me the driving directions from Boca Raton, Florida to Yankee Stadium. And here are the step-by-step directions from Boca Raton, Florida to Yankee Stadium. Let me check a look at it since I've made that drive myself. Yep, from I-95, go to Boca Raton, Florida. This will take you through several states, including Georgia, South Carolina, all the way up. The approximate distance is 1,100 miles. May take around 16 to 18 hours without significant stops or traffic delays. And it even tells you what's going to happen when you get close to New York City. Driving in and around New York City can be challenging due to heavy traffic, especially during peak hours. Plan your trip accordingly. Of course, that's what you want to do. Using Venice AI is just that simple. It's that easy, and it's completely safe, and you'll have a truly private AI experience. Venice AI was built to offer something different: complete user control and absolute freedom to explore, question, and create without limits or filters. And if you opt for the Pro plan, you unlock extra features like PDF uploads for instant summaries, uncensored image generation, custom prompts, and more. You're going to learn all of that by using Venice AI. And if privacy matters to you, which I know it does, especially when it comes to AI, Venice AI offers a safe, uncensored, and totally user-focused alternative. Go to Venice AI/Barry Cunningham and use the code Barry Cunningham to enjoy private, uncensored AI. Using my code will get you 20% off a Pro plan. Go check it out. You might be very surprised. I'd like to thank Venice AI for sponsoring today's video. I got a little thing I want to show you. This is like 2.5 minutes that I want to bring to your attention. So let's listen to some of this right now.
Every president for the past 2 decades,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was President Trump. No. This is Joe Biden.
Democrat and Republican alike, has declared war on drugs. And each of them has lost that war and lost it miserably. They lost because they attempted to deal with only part of the drug problem. They lost because their initiatives were pulled apart by bureaucratic squabbling among their advisors. They lost because they always did too little and they did it too late. We don't oppose the president's plan. All we want to do is strengthen it. We don't doubt his resolve. All we want to do is stiffen it. The trouble is that the president's proposals are not big enough to deal with the problem. We think we should do more to stem the flow of drugs across our borders, and we think we should go one step further. Let's go after the drug lords where they live.
Huh? You want to, take them out? What happened in, 40 years? That was in 1989. Joe Biden was saying, let's go take them on. And now, today, you've got the Democrats basically doing, and Rand Paul, I guess it's one and the same, are doing everything to stop President Trump from taking on Venezuela.
With an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it. We have to lock up the dealers for a long, long time, and we have to attack the source from which the drugs come.
I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of a conniption here because we were told this isn't supposed to happen. You're not supposed to go after the bad guys. The bad guys are the good guys. The good guys are the bad guys. 1989, huh?
And we have to do that not a piece at a time, but all at once. And we have to do it now. And there's not any reason why we can't do that. We have the power, we have the money, and we have the knowledge.
Imagine my surprise when I heard that, and then I read this. This is, at the time, it was breaking news. Tim Kaine, Rand Paul, Chuck Schumer, and Adam Schiff filed a war powers resolution to, quote, block the use of U.S. armed forces to engage in hostilities within or against Venezuela unless authorized by Congress. So you can go ahead and look this up. They're trying to do everything they possibly can to stop President Trump. Why? This is what you stood for. How all of a sudden now you don't want President Trump taking on the bad guys?
Every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
That's right.
And if you look at our numbers, the drugs coming in through sea are down 91%. I'm surprised it's 9%. I don't know who's doing the 9%, but it's down 91, and we're going to start very soon on land, and I'm sure you're thrilled.
Right, that was from today. You heard him say it. We're going to start pretty soon on land, and that caused the Democrats to go absolutely bat poop crazy. They weren't listening to Candace or TPUSA. They heard what Trump said, and we got to stop him. I don't know what they're doing about Candace. I don't know what they're doing about the Turning Point. They're like, we need to stop President Trump before he does anything. Why? Why are you so worried about protecting narco-terrorists?
That's right. If it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the initial
No, I support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country.
See, that's a president who takes it directly on. So are you okay to, with killing survivors? Yeah. Yeah, they're the bad guys. What do you want me to do? Bring them here and have some sort of trial? No, this is war. So I'm going to show you something in regards to the War Powers Resolution. So as you hear the narrative being put out there, you know the absolute truth. I want you to know what the truth is. All right, let's look at the War Powers Resolution. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 is a U.S. law that limits the president's ability to commit armed forces to conflict without congressional approval. But there's a little bit of a caveat here. It requires the president to inform Congress within 48 hours of deploying troops into hostilities and without a declaration of war or other congressional authorization. The forces must be withdrawn with 60 to 90 days. The resolution was passed in response to presidential actions during the Vietnam War and other conflicts. All right, 60 to 90 days in today's atmosphere, we're done. It's over. Hey, listen, we're going to fly B-2s, stealth bombers, over to Iran, drop bombs, and come home. There's nothing to do. It's over. See, they're going to make it seem to you like he can't do anything without telling them. That's complete hogwash. He's got 60 to 90 days. And by then, I think every single one of you knows it would be over. Let's look at further. Key provisions. Reporting requirement. Within 48 hours of introducing U.S. forces into hostilities or situations with imminent involvement in the hostilities, the president must report to Congress in writing. Now, I want you to understand what you're seeing here. I got to report. I got to tell you, hey, we're dropping bombs on Venezuela. Okay. The consultation. The president is required to consult with Congress in every possible instance before committing forces. Automatic withdrawal. Without a formal declaration of war or congressional authorization, U.S. forces must be withdrawn after 60 days. So I got a 60-day get-out-of-jail card here. We're going to go in, take care of business. We're going to let you know within 48 hours. Oh, let me go back up to that 48-hour notification. Within 48 hours of introducing, you got to let us know. The president must report to Congress. I consider myself being able to read and have vocabulary. Do you see anything in there that says in 48 hours you got to get congressional approval? Nope, doesn't say that. The approval comes afterwards. The president is required to consult in every possible instance before committing force. Automatic withdrawal without a formal declaration or congressional authorization. U.S. forces must be withdrawn after 60 days. And then you have the optional extension. The 60-day period can be extended for an additional 30 days if the president certifies to Congress that it is a military necessity for a prompt withdrawal. I'm sorry, does it say that Congress has to give him authority? No. But you would not know that just from looking at what people are saying. When you look at what they're saying, they are saying that you have to give the Congress notice. That's not true. You're going to hear it on television. You're going to hear it all over the place that he has to do and has to get congressional approval. No, he doesn't. That's not how this works. The War Resolution Power said you got to notify me. That's what you have to do. SB just said me President Trump posted something. What did he post here? I'm looking to see which one just posted. Where is this one? Oh, 8 minutes ago. All right, here's what he just posted. Hit the button. The sleazebag governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, refuses to allow an elderly woman, Tina Peters, who was unfairly convicted of what Democrats do, cheating on elections, out of jail. She was convicted for trying to stop Democrats from stealing Colorado votes in the election. She was preserving election records, which she was obligated to do under federal law. She has now served more than a year in jail, has 8 years to go. On top of everything else, she is a cancer survivor. This lightweight governor who has allowed his state to go to hell, Trende Aragua, should be ashamed of himself. Yes, she should be free. So I just wanted you, SV, thank you for that notification. I just wanted you to be aware, as you're going to begin hearing about everybody talking about the War Powers Resolution, to know for yourself what the War Powers Resolution actually means. It means, Congress, go pound sand. I'll see you in 60 to 90 days. And by then, I'm pretty sure our military could wipe Venezuela off the planet. But they won't have to. This came up, which is very interesting. Marco Rubio floats Qatar exile for Maduro as Trump wave strikes inside Venezuelan waters. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reportedly floated allowing Maduro to relocate to Qatar as the gas-rich emirate helps mediate the conflict. 3 current and 2 former administration officials described the scenario as plausible. Sources close to the administration: Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE love to do stuff like this. It helps build chits with the U.S. All 3 compete against each other for the ultimate affection of the United States. A source familiar with Qatar insisted it is untrue that Maduro is fleeing to Qatar. Trump spoke with Maduro last week and told him to step down immediately. Maduro counter-proposed handing off to his vice president with broad amnesty for himself and his allies, and Trump said no deals. No deals. The next escalation under consideration, striking alleged drug boats inside Venezuela's territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles offshore. Trump at yesterday's cabinet meeting, anybody that's doing that and selling it into our country is subject to attack, not just Venezuela. Colombia is now on notice too. A decision is expected later this week or early next week. So all this is moving very, very fluid. And you can see the chess match that's being played right now. And if this is to be believed, Maduro is basically trying to negotiate his parachute. Where am I going to land? Where can I go without you just destroying me or my family? So I just wanted you to know that absolute truth. If people start talking about the wartime resolution, that they're completely full of crap, and I'm pretty sure you're going to begin seeing that as well.